please consider liking and subscribing. So we are here with our power rankings for the conference championship round. Now that was possibly the greatest weekend of football in the divisional round, probably the greatest weekend of football of all time. It was absolutely amazing. Every single game was thoroughly entertaining, very enjoyable to watch, especially coming down to the Chiefs and the Bills game. That was absolutely insane. However, we are here to give our power rankings heading into conference championship weekend. Coming in at number 4, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, they beat the Titans on a walk-off field goal by Evan McPherson, who I have now dubbed Ice McPherson because the dude just never misses. Joe Burrow played an absolutely amazing game, given the situation and the circumstances that he was in. His offensive line was hot garbage, absolutely terrible. Gave up 9 sacks in that game. Literally trying to get Joe Burrow killed. But Joe Burrow, through all of that, went 28 of 37, 350 yards. And then Jamar Chase also having another big game, right? 5 receptions, 109 yards. He's an absolute game changer and a playmaker. So the offensive line is really bad, really struggled. And I think the Bengals are truly lucky to have a guy like Joe Burrow, because without him, I don't know if they win that football game. Now, defensively, I thought the Bengals played a very good game. Defensively, from the very first play, intercepting Ryan Tannehill to having 3 total interceptions on the day, and their defense coming up with the interception at the end of the game to help the Bengals offense get into field goal range and kick the game-winning field goal. Bengals, great win. They now play the Chiefs in the conference championship game at Arrowhead. Their offensive line was a very big issue for the Bengals this entire game, giving up 9 sacks, but giving up 9 sacks and still winning the game is very, very impressive. And I have the Bengals at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They defeated the number 1 seed Packers at Lambeau, and their defense was by far the greatest thing going for the 49ers this entire game. Only gave up 3 points after that opening drive touchdown by the Packers. D'Amico Ryans, absolutely great coaching performance. The 49ers defense was fantastic this entire game, and they even got 5 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. I know the offensive line of the Packers wasn't particularly healthy and the normal offensive line that they play, but you know, that offense, that front 4 of the 49ers, that defensive line, their defense as a whole is just absolutely insanely good. This game was not pretty for them on offense, however. Jimmy G is still Jimmy G. As much as I like him, he still makes that really dumb throw. He had the throw in the red zone when the 49ers had a chance to strike. Couldn't do it at the end of the first half, which, you know, it didn't really cost them the game, but you have Jimmy, who's prone and continues to make those really bad throws. So offensively, I mean, they still have good pieces. Debo, one of the most dynamic electric players in the NFL, and I still think George Kittle is a top tier tight end in the NFL. And they have Brandon Ayuk, who's, you know, really good. I mean, to start the game, the receivers weren't really helping out Jimmy Garoppolo much because they kept dropping passes that they normally would not be dropping. I mean, you can blame the weather conditions all you want, but still, you got to make those catches. It's a big spot, big situations. So offensively for the 49ers was not pretty. Jimmy Garoppolo did not play well. But I think their special teams also deserves a huge boost for this game. At the end of the first half, blocking the field goal and blocked the punt for a touchdown. When your offense only scores 6 points and your defense/special teams is just making an absolute having a monster day, I think the defense of the 49ers and their special teams are going to be problems. They do play the Rams next week in their 3rd matchup of the year, which I think is going to be a fantastic, great game. I cannot wait. The 49ers are a very good football team, and defensively, they are insanely good, and I have the 49ers at 3. Coming in at number 2, we have the Los Angeles Rams. Now, as I mentioned, they do play at home in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers in their 3rd matchup of the season. And they beat the Buccaneers on a last-second field goal, which seemed to be a trend this entire weekend, especially for the first 3 games of the weekend. But Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, insanely good game. They had ice in their veins on that final drive to be able to lead Matt Gay into field goal range and kick the game-winning field goal. That was absolutely beautiful football between Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford all game. Kupp had 9 receptions, 183 yards and a touchdown. Stafford, 28 of 38, 366 yards and 2 touchdowns. Those two guys had an absolutely amazing game their offense looked really, really good for most of this game. Now, they did almost blow a 27-3 lead, and it had everybody on Twitter rolling. It had me rolling. I was just sitting there laughing. I'm like, I was sitting there thinking, like, this can't be real. There is no way this is going to happen. And it got close. It got tied 27-27. And I was just like, all right, here we go. We're about to have the second biggest choke job ever. Didn't happen. I mean, they did have quite a few mistakes. The Cooper Kupp fumble, Cam Akers fumble, the bad snap. But through all that, they were able to come out with that clutch, amazing final drive, kick the game-winning field goal, and their defense is just absolutely amazing. The addition to Von Miller, and you got to go to the offensive side of the ball, Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ was not the problem in Cleveland. Those two additions mid-season have come up huge for the Rams. They're absolutely making plays for them. So I think they're a really good team, and their defense was fantastic most of this game. Those fumbles and those mistakes by the Rams kind of put their defense in a bad situation. Jalen Ramsey had a blown coverage on Mike Evans. So there was a few mistakes in there, but, take away those fumbles, which those fumbles did turn out to be very big and almost cost them the game. I thought the Rams played a fantastic game, and they now get to host the NFC Championship game, and they face the 49ers for the third time this season, and I have the Rams at number 2. Coming in at number 1, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Bills and quite possibly was the greatest football game of all time. Patrick Mahomes had a career-level day, and I think this game and the Chiefs, their season, in all honesty, can be defined by 13 seconds. 13 seconds is what defined this Chiefs team. 13 seconds. Mahomes was nuts in that game. 33 of 44, 378 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 rushes, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill had a great game. 11 receptions, 150 yards, a touchdown. Travis Kelce, 8 receptions, 96 yards, and a touchdown. The offense was just insanely good. You had Clyde back, who looked really good. You had Hardman, who stepped up, made some plays. You had McKinnon, who's been a great addition to the offense. Like, this offense has weapons galore right now. Everybody, you have Hardman just playing his best stretch of football, I think, of his entire career right now. The offense, 552 total yards, 7.6 yards per play. And when I saw that stat, my brain nearly exploded seeing that that stat. That was absolutely insane. Mahomes, 3 great drives at the end of the game to help the Chiefs win this game. You had the touchdown to Tyreek Hill, the 13 seconds, obviously, and then the game-winning touchdown to Travis Kelce. Defensively, I don't want to talk about it. The defense was really bad for the Chiefs. Now, the Honey Badger injury did not help them. Their defense couldn't stop anything, but the offense was playing so well. The Bills' defense couldn't stop a single thing. Defense was non-existent for, either team in this game. But the Chiefs played an absolutely spectacular game. Mahomes just an absolutely insanely good game. 4 straight AFC Championship games, all with Mahomes as a starter. He's never played a playoff game on the road, obviously excluding Super Bowls. Those don't necessarily count, but never a road playoff game. And Mahomes had 177 yards after the 2-minute warning. Mahomes just had a magical game. It was the Chiefs. This offense is dangerously good. It looks just as good, if not better, than any time during Mahomes' career. That was an all-time performance. Defensively, it's going to be a struggle because they do play the Bengals next week at home. Thank you, Titans, for losing, because now the Chiefs get to play at home, hosting their 4th straight AFC Championship game. But the Chiefs, defensively, they're going to have a big test next week coming up against Jamar Chase and those offenses, and Joe Burrow as a quarterback. That's going to be an all-time matchup, all-time rematch. It's going to be a really fun game. Next weekend, 2 great matchups, 49ers and the Rams, Chiefs and the Bengals. Now, those are my power rankings heading into Conference Championship weekend. I cannot wait. Give me your power rankings down below, and I'll see you in the next one.